Good afternoon, everyone. It's been 2 months, but finally, after many entertaining stories, we finally made it to the end of Stories of Sodor Season 6. It's the final episode now. Season 6, Episode 10, Adjustment. Now, we can see here that Joey leaves the railway inspector's unit to work on the Farquhar branch and basically become the new Thomas. And I'm wondering if, at the end of this episode, we might get a clue as to what's happened to the real Thomas and how he might come back next season. Maybe we might even get a tease for a mini-series on searching for Thomas. We might get some clues on just what's happened to Thomas. But we shall have to wait and see. And how exactly is Joey gonna be made to leave the railway inspector's unit to join the Farquhar crew? Well, let's find out. Let's begin the reaction to the final episode of Season 6 in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Oh, hang on, let me double check I'm definitely recording. Yeah, it looks like I am. Let's do it.
The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. I now realise I didn't properly explain why they launched an inquiry into the island's police force. It wasn't so much because of Constable Rollins' actions, but his words. In a desperate bid to save his own skin, he began to rat on his colleagues. He exposed a number of misdeeds committed by his peers. When these coppers were confronted, many of them gave up their own list of names. So the inquiry was convened to sort it all out. Just about every lawman on Sodor was placed under scrutiny. One of the officers caught up in the scandal was from the railway inspector's unit. It seems he had an arrangement with a local prostitute, and I'm sorry to say that after he was pinched, he pointed the finger at Joey. What exactly is he saying? Constable Murphy claims you knew about his relationship and turned a blind eye to it. He's lying. I had no idea he was into that sort of thing. Are you aware he has 2 complaints in his file from other hookers? Yes, but they were from before he joined this unit. Did you ever ask him about them? He said they were false accusations. Since they were dismissed for lack of evidence, I believed him. Well, there's plenty of evidence against him now. He'll likely be kicked off the force. Good. I don't condone that sort of behavior, and I certainly wouldn't cover it up. Still, I have to look into this. Pending resolution of this matter, and in accordance with the guidelines laid out by the inquiry, you are suspended from service. I'm sorry, Joey. It's all right, Lenny. I understand. I'm glad you're the one who's investigating. I hope you realize I won't be doing you any favors. If I find out you're crooked, I'll drag you to Railgate by your funnel. Then I have nothing to worry about.
He's not crooked.
How can you not be worried? It sounds like he's made up his mind. On the contrary, he's keeping an open mind. He once told me a good investigator never assumes. I think it's ridiculous they're taking such a hard line. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Given the situation, they can't afford to give us the benefit of the doubt.
True. I was also reminded of, we never got to hear what Joey's first case was from Season 3. He began to tell it, but then he was interrupted when Peter, when he was called away to arrest Peter. Will we I hope that one day we will get to hear of Joey's first case.
Gator never assumes. I think it's ridiculous they're taking such a hard line. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? Given the situation, they can't afford to give us the benefit of the doubt. Nearly a dozen officers have already been arrested. 3 of them are facing prison time. I hope Rollins is one of them. He is, but he's been given a reduced sentence in exchange for the service he's providing. They show leniency to a wife beater, but not a dedicated officer like you. If the wife beater has important information, absolutely. That's how the system works. And it's complete horse shit. Is there anything we can do? Yes, actually.
Percy used stronger language again. Yeah. It is interesting when strong language is used outside of Sodor shorts. It is, yeah, it always is.
If the wife beater has important information.
Yes. I always find it interesting when Victor uses stronger language outside of his more comedic videos, because it shows that the character's genuinely pissed.
Absolutely. That's how the system works. And it's complete horse shit. Is there anything we can do? Yes, actually. I'm not going to sit around waiting to be cleared. I asked Mr. Watson if there were any jobs I could do around Sodor, and he mentioned your branch line has been very busy lately. So here I am. That's great. We could use the help. If memory serves, you used to work on a branch line before becoming a copper. Yes, but that was a very long time ago, so I'm bound to be rusty. Any guidance you chaps can provide would be appreciated. Well, we learn through experience, and I'm taking a rail tour in 15 minutes. How about we double-head it? Brilliant. Thank you, Toby. How am I doing? Splendidly. Don't you agree, Annie? Oh, yes, Clarabelle. That was a very smooth ride. Indeed, you're the most polished rusty engine I've ever seen. It's all coming back to me. I forgot how much I enjoyed doing this kind of work. This is just like being on a holiday. Well, you know what they say, a change is as good as a...
Interesting line usage from Donald's Duck. But you know what they do? But you know what they really say? All toasters toast toast.
It's just like being on a holiday. Well, you know what they say, a change is as good as a... There he goes again. Who? His name's Elliot. He works up at the quarry. Does he speed often? Often enough that I can count on one buffer the amount of times he hasn't. It's a miracle he hasn't killed himself or anyone else. Have you informed the local authorities? Yes, but it hasn't made any difference. Maybe I should have a word with them. Suspended or not, I'm still an officer of the law.
True.
What have you got to say for yourself, Constable Clark? I've given him several warnings, but no actual fines. Why? Because he's such a nice chap, or because the price is right? I know you appeared before the inquiry for taking bribes. The inquiry proved those allegations were false. The only money I've ever taken is my pitiful salary, but thanks to you, I now have a blot on my record. All I did was expose a crooked copper. He's the one who sold out the department, and I heard one of your people sold you out. What goes around comes around. Don't pop the champagne, Clarky. Like you, I'm innocent, and I'll be reinstated shortly. Best of luck if that happens. You're going to need it. What did he mean by that? He means I'm not very popular amongst my fellow officers. Many of them blame me for the inquiry. Why? Like you said, Rollins was the one who turned grass, but I arrested him. I let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. Would they have preferred you did nothing? No, but I'm sure they'll be reluctant to work alongside someone they consider a rat. Would you want to be around Whiff if you thought he'd report you for the smallest infraction? Probably not. No offense, Whiff. None taken. What are you going to do? The question is, what will my superiors do? They probably see me as a troublemaker now, and troublesome cops don't make it very... What's wrong? Some cops do. My superiors do. They probably see me as a troublemaker now, and troublesome cops don't make it very...
He's not a
What's
troublemaker. Wrong? Joey is anything but a troublemaker, as I've seen throughout the series. He has never once caused trouble for anyone. He is most definitely not a troublemaker. So it's not fair he's getting shat on by his fellow officers. It's not fair at all. Joey is a fine railway cop indeed.
Some cops don't make it very... What's wrong? Inspector Fairbanks? Mr. Dobson? Elliot Dobson, I don't believe it. And I didn't want to believe that was you yesterday. I hoped I was hallucinating. Explains why Clarky gave me a fine. Was that a consolation prize? I had no idea that was you. I saw someone commit a crime and acted accordingly. Is that why you never found Helen? Because you had dodgy eyesight? We followed the evidence in the wrong direction. That could have been avoided if you had just given us an alibi. It's not our fault you refused to cooperate. I had a very good reason not to, which was nothing. Just leave me alone.
Ah, maybe that was Joey's first case. I wonder...
How do you know him? From a case Lenny and I worked on the mainland. 5 years ago, a British rail ticket clerk named...
Oh, it was 5 years ago. Oh, so it wasn't his first
From
case.
a case Lenny and I worked on the mainland. 5 years ago, a British rail ticket clerk named Helen Dobson disappeared. Her car was found at a local park and there was blood on the ground. Her husband was the primary suspect. According to her friends, she thought he was having an affair. Was he? Not that we could prove, and he denied it. He also proclaimed his innocence, but refused to give us an alibi. We wanted to hold him, but couldn't. There were no witnesses to the crime and no body, so we released him. The case went cold after that. I later heard he was run out of town because everyone thought he had killed his wife. Well, he's picked up a new one since. Are you saying he got remarried? Apparently. Her name's Agatha. Agatha? You know her too? One of Mrs. Dobson's friends was named Agatha Crawford. Bust my buffers! With friends like that? Indeed. I think I need to have a word with the new Mrs. Dobson. Good morning, Mrs. Dobson. Hello, Inspector. It's been a while. Yes, it has. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Are you even allowed to do that? I heard you got suspended. What happened? You fingered one too many innocent blokes? Relax, Elliot. We have nothing to hide. Go ahead. How did you two end up together? We've known each other since high school. I introduced him to Helen. I never believed he killed her.
In the UK,
We've known
it's
each other
called
since high
secondary-
school.
It's called secondary school
You fingered
here
one too
in
many
this
innocent
country, not
blokes?
high school.
Relax, Elliot. We have nothing to hide.
interesting
Go
word.
ahead. How did you two end up together? We've known each other since high school. I introduced him to Helen. I never believed he killed her and stuck by him after she disappeared. We got close and the rest is history. Was there anything romantic between you two prior to that? No. How many times do I have to say it? I didn't cheat on Helen. We found her journal, Mr. Dobson. She made notes every time you left the house. The pattern suggests you were up to something. It wasn't infidelity. Agatha! Elliot, tell him. Ugh. Gambling, all right. I had a gambling problem back then. I'd sneak out and go to a bookies. There weren't any bookies in that town. This was more of a back alley kind of place. That's where I was when Helen disappeared. Is it still there? I have no idea. You're not going to check, are you? The bloke who ran it was a very hard man. If he can confirm your alibi, it would eliminate you as a suspect. Don't you want that? I guess. But I'm blaming you if I end up with 2 broken legs. Duly noted. Mrs. Dobson, can you account for your whereabouts that day? I was at home sick with the flu. Did anybody see you? No, I lived alone. What sort of car did you drive back then? I didn't own a car. I used to take the bus or ride my bicycle. I see. I think that's all for now. Thank you for your cooperation. I'll be in touch. Interesting. You're not mad? Why would I be? Because I shouldn't have been asking questions. Lucky for you, time is on your side. As of 0800 hours this morning, you've been reinstated. Really? That was fast. There wasn't much to investigate after Constable Murphy admitted he lied. He thought he could save his career by offering up someone higher on the food chain. And did he think evidence was going to magically fall out of the sky? Well, it's like I told you when we first caught this case. Some men think with the wrong head. But if Mr. Dobson's alibi pans out, then we were clearly wrong about him. What do you think about his new wife? I'm not sure. Their relationship feels very strange. Do you think there was anything between them? No, I don't. I also don't believe their friendship is solely the reason she supported him. I think she knows for a fact he didn't murder his wife. But why would she? If they weren't having an affair, what's her motive? Even if she did, how do we prove it? We still don't have a body. I might have an idea, but it's risky. Oh, come on. When's this going to stop? Right now. We located the bookie's owner. He confirmed your alibi. He's currently doing time, so you needn't worry about reprisal. He also said no hard feelings and many happy returns to the both of you. Why didn't you mention you also gambled there, Mrs. Dobson? I'm sorry, I guess I forgot. You must have also forgotten about your neighbor. My neighbor? The one whose car you borrowed the day Helen disappeared? He said you didn't bring it back until late in the evening. No matter. Forgotten if you also gambled there, Mrs. Dobson. I'm sorry, I guess I forgot. You must have also forgotten about your neighbor. My neighbor? The one whose car you borrowed the day Helen disappeared? He said you didn't bring it back until late in the evening. No matter. We already asked the first Mrs. Dobson about that. What? She's alive? And she's right over there. Helen? You sick bastards. What fucking game are you playing at?
Oh, another F word.
She's alive? And she's right over there. Helen? You sick bastards. What fucking game are you playing at? We're sorry, Mr. Dobson. We had to prove your second wife killed her. And how did you do that? You didn't look. Of course not. I know. What fucking game are you playing at? We're sorry, Mr. Dobson. We had to prove your second wife killed her. And how did you do that? You didn't look. Of course not. I know she's dead. How? Agatha, you didn't kill her, did you? It was an accident. She called me earlier that day and asked me to meet her at the park. I borrowed my neighbor's car and drove it. No, she's dead. How? Agatha, you didn't kill her, did you? It was an accident. She called me earlier that day and asked me to meet her at the park. I borrowed my neighbor's car and drove over. As soon as I got there, she accused me of having an affair with Elliot. Someone saw us near the bookies and told her. She accused at the park. I borrowed my neighbor's car. It was an accident. She called me earlier that day and asked me to meet her at the park. I borrowed my neighbor's car and drove over. As soon as I got there, she accused me of having an affair with Elliot. Someone saw us near the bookies and told her. I said it wasn't true, but she didn't believe me. We started fighting. I pushed her. She fell back and hit her head. What did you do with her body? I loaded it up in the boot and drove out of town. I stopped alongside a riverbank and threw her in. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're sorry, you bitch?
Oh no!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're sorry, you bitch?
Someone calling her a bitch in Stories of Sodor. Then he pushes her over onto the car and accidentally kills her. Oh dear. No wonder Joey wanted to leave the police force. Oops.
You arrested him? We had no choice. He killed his wife. At least you were able to solve your case. Too bad the inquiry didn't agree with our methods. They think we created the situation that led to Mr. Dobson's outburst. He killed his wife. At least you were able to solve your case. Too bad the inquiry didn't agree with our methods. They think we created the situation that led to Mr. Dobson's outburst. I'm sure his barrister will make good use of that. What's going to happen? Have you both been suspended? We were given that option, but since the odds were stacked against us, we would likely be sent to Railgate. Our superior said we could avoid that. What's going to happen? Have you both been suspended? We were given that option, but since the odds were stacked against us, we would likely be sent to Railgate. Our superior said we could avoid that if we resigned. And you did? Coppers don't do well inside. What a load of rubbish. I'm so sorry, lads. It's probably for the best. Like I told you in Whiff, I wouldn't have had an easy career going forward.
True. So neither Lenny nor Joey are in the RIU anymore. Oh, they were synonymous with it though. What a shame. And all because they were unfairly treated by after his wife's death. I can't remember his name. After Agatha's death. Poor Joey and poor Lenny. They've had a rough few days.
And I was getting tired of the whole system. Still, I had hope for. It's probably for the best. Like I told you in Whiff, I wouldn't have had an easy career going forward. And I was getting tired of the whole system. Still, I had hoped to end my career on a much higher note. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm old enough to retire to a heritage railway. Then it's a good thing I have a job offer for you. You do, sir? Yes, Derek said he could use some extra help. How would you like to join the Fire and Rescue Service? That would be wonderful, sir.
So Lenny joins the Fire and Rescue Service and Joey goes to work on the Farquhar branch. Wow. So I guess Lenny is... Well, Derek replaced Mickey as chief, but I guess Lenny is filling Derek's old role now before he became chief. Wow.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm old enough to retire to a heritage railway. Then it's a good thing I have a job offer for you. You do, sir? Yes, Derek said he could use some extra help. How would you like to join the Fire and Rescue Service? That would be wonderful, sir. Thank you. What about you, Joey? How would you like to be permanently assigned to the Farquhar branch? I would love it, sir. And we'd love to have you here. Welcome aboard. I'm pleased to say both engines adjusted to their new lives splendidly. Lenny did an excellent job working on both engines adjusted to their new lives splendidly.
Oh, I thought Lenny would be repainted into, like, red to match the Fire and Rescue Service, but oh well.
Branch. I would love it, sir.
Furness Railway Red would look amazing on Lenny, or any B12 for that matter.
And we'd love to have you here. Welcome aboard. I'm pleased to say both engines adjusted to their new lives splendidly. Lenny did an excellent job working alongside Derek, while Joey became quite popular on the Farquhar branch. A while later, he asked if he could be repainted his favorite color. There was some confusion about a blue engine working on the line that wasn't Thomas, but it was never a serious issue. Speaking of serious issues, Mr. Elliot Dobson was found not guilty of the death of his second wife. However, he had to move away again. Wherever he ended up, I hope he was able to find happiness. The inquiry concluded a few weeks later. Over 30 officers were given the boot or sent to prison. The island's police force... Over 30 officers were given the boot or sent to prison. The island's police force would be better off now that its crooked cohort had been removed. Nonetheless, it was a very long time before it regained its credibility. Life went on afterwards with great changes on the horizon. The entire freight industry was undergoing a revolution, one that would greatly affect the railway. But those are stories for another day.
Well done, Victor. You've done really well this season. Season 4, parts 1 and 2 combined. Season 4 as a whole is still my favourite season, but you did a solid job with Season 6, and even Season 5 for as divisive as it was. Yeah, despite the common issues people brought up with Season 5, I still really enjoyed it. And I've enjoyed Season 6 just as much. Oh, and with Edward saying that the freight industry... With Edward saying that the freight industry is undergoing a revolution... We're finally... Looks like the next seasons we're going to have an episode about containerization. I'm looking forward to that. And I hope we get more stories with the Arsdale engines next season. And I also hope we finally, towards the end of the season, get an answer as to what happened with Thomas and how he's gonna come back, how he's been able to remain alive despite appearing dead. A wonderful episode, Victor, and a wonderful season as a whole. Well done, Victor. I am looking forward to Season 7 next year. And yes, I will react to every episode in Season 7 as well. So, that's it for Season 6, and that's it for these Stories of Sodor reactions until next year, I guess. So, thank you all so much for watching. Lovely season. My favourite episode has definitely been Troublemaker, but this also is one of my favourites. Either way, thank you all so much for watching this. I'm really looking forward to Season 7. What I'm hoping for in season... There's 3 things I'm hoping for Season 7. A, we get an episode involving the moon landing. The Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin moon landing in 1969. To see how it affects the moon landing. How Sodor is affected by such a historic occasion. B, I hope we're going to get an episode... Season 7 will probably go into the 1970s, so I'm hoping we're also going to get an episode about the 1973 oil crisis, and what I'm hoping is some engines, as a result of the oil crisis, who've undergone steam diesel conversion, what I'm hoping is that some engines will choose to be converted back to steam engines as a result of the oil crisis. Because, yeah, with the oil crisis occurring, finding more fuel will be hard. And C, I'm hoping that towards the end of the season, across the season, we'll get like little clues to Thomas's return and what may have happened to him, and then eventually the final episode of Season 7, Thomas's return, and he explains everything and what happened to him between 1965 and when he returns. So yeah, 3 things. So yeah, those are the 3 things I'd like to see in Season 7. Episode about the moon landing, episode about the 1973 oil crisis, where some engines decide to convert themselves back to steam engines, those who've undergone steam diesel conversion, Edward included. And C, Thomas returns and explains everything that happened to him and how he was able to be revived or stay alive. Or perhaps some of the steam engines, or perhaps Robert Hall will devise a way for steam engines to be a hybrid of steam and diesel, like they'd be able to switch modes at will as a result of the oil crisis. But yeah, either way, that's it from me for now, and that's it for Stories of Sodor Season 6. Hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you're all looking forward to Season 7 next year and my reactions to each of the Season 7 episodes, because I'm looking forward to Season 7. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to me and Victor Tanzig if you haven't already. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye, everyone!